What's up, guys? Gilbert here again, with yet another update on our future comics coming out on the Comic Experience. First off, we got Darth Vader 17 coming out on November 24th. Next, we have Star Wars number 5 coming out on December 8th. And finally, coming out on December 22nd is Darth Vader 18. Remember, guys, if you like these videos, then like and subscribe to our channel. And maybe even check out our Patreon, because we love making these videos, and we would love to make them even more for you. Thanks. Now on to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. If you are listening to the Comic Experience, you're listening to the Fulcrum Report. I sound like Rick. And welcome back, you guys. So it's the Fulcrum Report, episode 17. I can't believe we made it so far, and it's a blast. And I think we got something quite special here. So before we start the video, if you wouldn't mind, please drop in a like, subscribe to our channel, hit the little bell notification so you know when our videos come out. And then also comment below. We're constant. Yeah, we've been seeing you guys are more active in the comments lately, and we love it. And we're gonna get down in there with you. So my name's Sebastian. I'm the host and director this week. You can follow me on the Instagram and the Twitter. It's been a blast over there, and I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, dropping reviews and all that fun stuff. So you can go check that out. Gilbert will not be here this week due to family issues. So quick moment of silence for the Gilbs. Okay, thank you. And we are on to Marshall, Machinima Man. What's going on, Marshall? Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you for having me back for episode Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks.
Right on. I love him. Keep him going. Over in the UK, we have also Marshall Unchained. Or no, not Marshall Unchained, Harrison Unchained.
There's two of me.
There's two. We have Harrison Unchained. What's going on, Harrison?
Nothing much. I'm enjoying the space, the sheer space.
Right on. Welcome back. Let's do our quiz question. It's going to go on with one of our topics this week, actually. I decided to pull a Ryan Johnson on you guys and subvert your expectations. I'm going to save the quiz question that I posted on social media for next week. This quiz question for Fulcrum Report episode 17. What franchise animated, for example, we have Shrek. He's coming back out. He's going to be rebooted. What animated property should never, ever be rebooted? And what would that awful reboot look like? So get your answers down. But let's get on to our first topic. We are going to talk about the long-awaited Cassian Andor series coming to Disney+. I'm going to start with you, Marshall. I'm not going to form my opinion just yet. What are your feelings on a Cassian Andor Disney Plus, their streaming series? Are you excited about it? What's going on with it?
Yeah, I really liked him in Rogue One, but I would have never thought he'd get his own show. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I didn't think he was that interesting of a character to warrant having his own show, but I could be wrong.
Do you feel like there is this I want to call it like a syndrome in Hollywood where they will, you have the movies and you have the spin-offs and all that stuff, and the majority of the time when we get these spin-offs, they're always obscure characters that we don't want spin-offs of. Do you think that this is a result of that? Do you think we're, because I just see people in the comments, we've been dying for Boba Fett and that's still not coming out, but we got a Solo. And we've been dying for an Obi-Wan, but we have Cassian Andor coming. So it's like, what's going on?
It's always the way, and I don't understand why. It's like,
is it because he's a cheaper character to work with? He doesn't even have a lightsaber, so that'll cheapen things up quite a bit.
The cynic in me says yes, he would be much cheaper to hire than a big name. But I don't know. It's just weird. He's such a strange character to have a spin-off for.
Let's okay, I'm going to come back to you, Marshall, but I totally agree with you. Harrison, is it a strange, card to play, and what would have been an easy, a much more enjoyable replacement?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I think it is a little weird. But I do think that it is probably the best place, or one of the better places to go and do a spin-off. Somewhere that the Rogue One story isn't very widely explored. So there's way more room to expand, especially for a TV show. Like for a TV show, you've got to be like, we could have 7 seasons of this. We could go to 13 seasons of this. It could go on forever if it wants to. So you need a place where you can really stretch out. So a character like that might actually, although it's not what everyone thinks they want, it might end up being the best thing for us.
Yeah, and I can see, like, I remember when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out, I wasn't, like, extremely excited about it, but they did have my man Coulson in it, so I went in a little excited, and then, like, I don't know, seasons down the way, it got really intense and really good. So maybe we'll have to sit through a couple cringy, season 1 episodes of the Cassian Andor show to get to the good stuff, but who knows. Marshall, what do you see the show even being about? I mean, sure we could talk about like him being gritty, and yeah, we saw him shoot the rebel in Rogue One.
Yeah,
What else is there, or do you think we're just gonna see more of that? Because like in my head, as I'm writing the script, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I was trying to remember that part actually, and I guess it could be about maybe his childhood, growing up and then turning into the way he is, not caring much about anything. But
oh my god, it could be like the Arrow, where
yeah,
you do the flashbacks to him as a kid, and then
yeah, but I don't know. That just doesn't sound interesting enough to me. If it was about a big character, then sure, but I don't know.
I know somebody at least a little. I don't know if you guys like are familiar with some of the Legends characters, but that character, we even got him in the Clone Wars. Quinlan Vos, remember that like Jedi with the yellow stripe over his face? He's been around. He has like the dreadlocks, the green lightsaber.
Yeah.
He's a huge beloved character, and they barely scratched the surface with him in the new Disney canon. So like. But, like, there's tons of little characters that don't matter in the big importance, that wouldn't mess with things too much, that could totally have shows been made out of them. Yeah. And to get a Cassian Andor show, I don't know, it's just weird, to me at least,
There's so much happening now. They've confirmed The Mandalorian, cancelled Obi-Wan, the Cassian Andor show, there's going to be even more shows. It's just like, I don't know why they're announcing so much. So
it seems also almost they're like kind of planting their flag in the ground and being like, okay, there's lots of rumors. We hear you guys constantly saying Boba Fett's coming out. We hear you guys constantly saying Obi-Wan's coming out, and maybe they are listening to the fans and they're letting us know. No, they're listening to us in the wrong way, but they're at least letting us know. No, this isn't what you're getting. You're getting a Mandalorian show, which we all seem to be pretty psyched for. I mean, it's basically Boba Fett, the show, And then over on the other side, we get the Cassian Andor show, and I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not like extremely...
It sounds like a late night talk show, doesn't it? The Cassian Andor show.
I would love to see a Star Wars like late night talk show, even if it was a web series, but like if it was just something on YouTube, like Conan O'Brien Alien, just sitting down with various Star Wars characters interviewing it.
That would be funny.
Now, one thing. Now here's where we get to the nitty gritty, because there could be some cool things of the show. I saw a lot of people talk about K2SO. I loved him from Rogue One, and him and Cassian are buddies. But in the Marvel comics, we already saw how they met, which would limit the time of like how long the show exists. Which would prevent us having 7, 8, seasons, because we have the comic of how they meet and how he decodes the K2SO unit or reprograms him or whatever. So, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Harrison, what are some other like elements that, besides K2SO, that might spice this show up? Characters that we saw in Rogue One possibly, or elements from the rest of the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'll say first is I think, like you said about how the comics have already shown us how you met K2SO. I think Disney very much has an attitude of no, 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 no. What happens over here is what happens over here, and if it disagrees with your comics, I don't care. So I think if I think they might disregard the comics and do their own thing.
Which I which I would be okay with, because they're already there's the YouTube channel Star Wars Explains. He normally does the book breakdowns for the visual dictionaries and stuff like that.
There's going to be those people that are upset that it's breaking canon again.
Yeah, because there's a difference between a visual dictionary, which is kind of like a visual dictionary that's not necessarily canon. It's compared to a comic book, and saying no, that's a no. Yeah, I don't know if I want to, because then you can go on from there, and like what else can we just erase from the comics? See what I mean? We're getting these Snoke comics coming up, and we're gonna get a Darth Maul comic coming up, and a Kylo comic coming up. And what's good of all that if like a movie can come out and then just wipe that out? Like, it takes away a bit of the excitement, or the bit of the little pocket of knowledge we're gonna get. Do you feel like there would be a huge uproar, Harrison, or do you feel like fans would, the more casual audience wouldn't care?
Certainly, I don't think the more casual audience would be that bothered. I think I don't know how they're going to play this out entirely, but I suppose from my point of view, even though we have Marvel producing a lot of the comics for Star Wars, when you look at Marvel and the Star Wars franchises together in terms of cinema, they're quite interesting because they're kind of the opposite. Marvel cinema has been led by comics and has taken stuff from comics, whereas Star Wars, the cinema, is the primary medium of Star Wars. So I can accept the movies and TV shows and things that I like put on film disagreeing with the comics more than I could in terms of Marvel. And actually they've already broken off in their own ways, and I've been quite happy with it.
Yeah, Marvel's not even in its own. It's not even in its own. They're in separate continuity from the comic book. It doesn't even matter. So if they were to mess with stuff a little bit, then I would agree. I would like it to be a little bit more separate, just because we spend so much time and like delving into these shows and books, and for them not to matter, I don't know if. And this is coming from like the fan that just think about every fan that spends $3.99 on a Marvel comic, and it's only 20 pages. So to get through a whole story arc, you have to buy 20 of those books. That's a bunch of money just to be said, 4 years later, hey, that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, this is something I brought up before. I think that what we have to do is we have to accept that no, it's not that it doesn't matter anymore. It is that this is a different version of that story.
Yeah,
and you as the reader and the watcher can decide which one you prefer. And we have to not so much like all live in head canon, but we have to sort of go like, yeah, this is the one. This is the story I got. This is what I prefer. This is better for me. And and I think we're already seeing that. We're already living in that. I mean, like in exactly the same way. If I'm not going to go, what? This comic has like said that all that stuff didn't happen. I mean, basically we got sick of retconning years and years ago.
Right.
To the point where now, I can decide whatever I like. I mean, the only thing that I ever had really was screaming at the old X-Men movies when they kept saying, we gave Wolverine his claws. It's like, no, he had his claws before he had the adamantium skeleton. But I got over that, and I feel we can all get
No, and you're absolutely right, because I guarantee you there's fans of Star Wars, of the original EU Star Wars, that will absolutely not hold a torch to any of the new stuff coming out. And I'm sure there's there's Star Wars fans from the 80s, from their 80s books and their 80s canons, because I think this might be like the third time that the books and the comics and all that have been like rebooted. And so yeah, the books at the very end of the day and the comics won't matter, because if this down the line ends up getting rebooted again, they won't touch the movies, but the comics and all that stuff will be trashed. And yeah, it's good to not be married to those as much as, the film. So
Yeah.
Real quick, let's give it like so are we excited, Marshall, for the Cassian Andor show? What are we calling it, by the way? I want it, I got it. I want it to be like a buddy cop show, and it's like called Cassian and K2SO.
Cass and K. Yeah.
Cass and K. There you go.
I can't really say right now. I think once we see a trailer or something, then I'll decide. But yeah, I have my doubts.
Is there somebody real quick that you would have preferred rather, like off the top of your head, just like an easy, why didn't this guy get a show instead?
Darth Maul.
Oh my god.
Oof, yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, I want to bring up the point because I was talking with one of my coworkers that's a Star Wars fan, and I was like, in the announcement for the show, they mentioned that it's a prequel to Rogue One. Why do we keep getting these prequels to literally the entire cast of Rogue One died? That's why I'm happy about The Mandalore. We're getting some sort of new story that can be in Star Wars and not have to be holding hands with the rest of the movies. So that's why like Cassian doesn't sound I know how he dies, I see his redemption. It's all kind of dealt with in his movie. So to see an entire series of him, being I don't know how that, because it's not like he's gonna turn and be a good guy in that show. That happens in Rogue One. So it's just him just being this shady guy killing his friends for seasons and seasons. Like,
I think that's what it's going to be about.
I'm assuming it's probably going to be a bit like Better Call Saul was for
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Breaking Bad. Yeah. Better Call Saul. We know Saul Goodman. We know what happens to him. And I think actually Better Call Saul does a great job, if you've watched it, of like expanding on him and showing his journey. And showing how he ended up being the slime ball that he was. So it could be that that Cassian was a good guy at some point, then had a dip, and then came back.
Gotcha.
I think if it's done well, you forget what happens to them at the end because you're so invested in the show. Like with Rogue One, the film, all the way through, I forgot that they died in the end because I was enjoying it and I was so invested in the film.
It always bothers me too because I've always wished at least one character continue on, and it doesn't mean that they have had to been in another Star Wars movie. I mean, somebody could have survived. I wish
Chirrut,
that way down. Somebody down the line. Oh, I love that character, the blind Jedi, right? Is that, yeah. Oh my god, or not the Jedi, but the what are they? Guardian of the Will.
Yeah, he guards the Temple of the Kyber Crystals.
Yeah, there's a whole like separate religion called the Guardian of the Wills, and then they have the Journal of the Wills, and that's like the Force Bible and stuff. I would love a series built off of that. Why not like him?
Yeah,
I want a prequel about him. Oh my god, him and his friend. They had some sort of history with the church, and I guess there could have been a series about that. I would have watched that and found out the whole different trippy side of the Force, not from a Jedi perspective, not from a Sith perspective, but more from like a kind of a church worshipping it perspective. I thought that would have been really trippy and interesting.
Yeah.
Harrison, did I get? So are we gonna dig this show, or is it gonna be like a one season and done? Like, I'm scared of that happening, but I'm like also have my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's an idea that I wasn't expecting. So like I'm just kind of surprised by it, and I'm like, I want to just see where it goes.
Oh, this just in. It's gonna be animated. Okay, all problem solved. No, I'm
what?
kidding.
Really? Oh
no, I'm joking.
Jeez. I thought you was gonna say it was made of Lego.
I was gonna say. We'll see. I want to be positive. It's just it's interesting, and then it's interesting also. The reception we're getting. Maybe they should have announced a bit more of what's gonna happen. I guess it's the same. I expect the same when you announce another Joker movie for people to get upset. But if you tell them possibly what it's about, and if it's a good idea, you might be able to sell them. And I feel like we're getting the same thing. Cassian Andor, we are going to talk about how, I don't know, I just get instant like meh vibes. So we'll find out. But let's move on to our next subject. I found it's blown up on Twitter. It's now reached its way to Instagram and now the YouTube. We have the new Avengers suit leaks. I'm gonna start off with Harrison. You saw these, yes?
Yes, I did. Yes.
So tell me what you think. They're all kind of matching suits. I'm sure they'll be up on the screen for those listening at home. Kind of tell me your thoughts on it, and what we think they are.
Oh, they are lame. They are so lame. Like, I don't know. Like I can't think of something worse than taking like this like really cool, like, you know, collection of heroes from around the world and around the galaxy that all had their own different identities, and seeing them, you know, interact and bounce off each other, and then going, let's make them all the same.
Which is why I think it's
like,
fake.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think you are totally
it has
right,
to be.
Marshall. I think they're fake as well.
But do you think somebody took the leaked box art image? Because I think that one's real, the one with Thor and Rocket. And do you think somebody took that and maybe just decided to Photoshop those costumes on everybody? Or do you think this is all one giant fake leak and these costumes aren't even a thing? Because I've seen another toy leak too where it shows multiple characters. Here, let me see if I can get it up on here for you guys. I've been seeing it everywhere. It shows multiple characters, and it's kind of a blurry image, but they're all wearing the same suit. So you all think it's fake?
Yeah. I mean, look at the faces on it. They're literally faces from other films that they've been in.
But if you haven't, but this, now I've seen this argument brought up a lot. It's photoshopped. Absolutely, it's photoshopped. It's for promotional material. So like, I understand that the faces are photoshopped and Iron Man looks god awful, but I think this is like what we're gonna see on the toy packages. I don't think this is. They're all.
I think Disney has the money to do a better job than that.
If anything, okay, let's call these. It's hard to tell because I've seen other images too of toy. There's another image of this like that's kind of okay. So what do we think with the Thor and Rocket image then? Do you think that's real and somebody just tried to replicate that suit onto the rest of the Avengers?
Yeah.
Sorry, was.
I mean that's the one from the toy pack, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's real.
Now, there's two things that made me think this might be real. The only thing is, on their left hand, they have that blue device on top of their hand, and in those set images from the Battle of New York, we also see they have that blue device on their hand. Do you think there's a link between those two?
No, it's just someone who likes making memes and is very observant.
Okay, so you think this is... Yeah, okay, now, okay, I'm totally... Now, I want to be honest. When I saw this, I instantly thought fake, because I looked at Iron Man. I was like, oh my god. Why is Iron Man wearing a costume, but, like, the rest of his armor? Like, why wouldn't his head be the rest of the... You know, that's so not Iron Man. Why is Iron Man wearing a suit over his suit?
I will say, it does look like a suit that they might use to go into the quantum realm to rescue Ant-Man.
Exactly what I was just going to bring up
but
next.
I don't think it will be on all of them.
Yeah, who knows? It might just be Thor, Rocket, and then I've also seen an image, I'll get it up to you guys after, of a little figure wearing, it's so blurry, but the silhouette is wearing that same suit, but it has the Captain America shield next to it, so I'm assuming maybe Captain also. So it looks like maybe a couple of them go to the quantum realm, and not the entire team.
Yeah, it's the only way I could, you could explain why they have new suits all of a sudden.
Now, here's my only other theory I have, and then you can tell me if you think this is right. And Harrison, and you've also had this dimensional idea for a while now, and I've also agreed with you. I think that possibly for them to go into these other dimensions, do you think they maybe have to wear these suits and maybe go inside the quantum realm and hang out there, and then maybe their consciousness is transferred to another dimension or I'm kind of thinking more of like Days of Futures Past, how you have to send your mind into the mind of something from another time, or and do you think maybe they have to wear these suits during that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
like, do you know, my theory about this, because like I think we first saw this from some sort of toy packet, is that, well, you know how, do you remember when The Dark Knight came out and then there were loads of Batman toys, and the Batman toys all had different suits because there had to be 5 different toys to buy?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be that. I'm not sure that it'll actually have any relation to the movie.
No, and I totally agree with you, because I remember somebody making a YouTube video for Spider-Man Homecoming where they're like, Spider-Man has a blue suit with electrical like webbing all over it, and I'm like, no, this is just a toy. Trust me, I've been playing with Spider-Man toys long enough to realize that every movie, not only do they have the movie figure, but they also have 8 different colors of Spider-Man doing different things related to elements.
I had the water Spider-Man toy that came with a water gun, and he was like transparent blue.
Yep.
And it was never in a comic, it was never in anything. It was just to sell me that toy.
It was just an abomination.
In exactly the same way that I had the Spider-Man car and the Spider-Man motorbike.
Who knows? I'm dying to see. I'm hoping, like, I'm crossing my fingers that, like, when the trailer is released, there's like just a snippet of them all standing in a room wearing like the same seats plugged in, like the Matrix or something.
If that happens, I will PayPal you $20.
Deal.
My favorite thing about this video, this image, there's so much wrong with it. I'm looking at it now, like Ant-Man and his helmet on there. But my favorite is the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like,
here, I want to
the
see
Hulk
this.
looks
Let
amazing.
me look.
Like,
They
Yeah,
didn't
'cause the
even
Hulk
bother with Hulk. I mean, they didn't even try and make him look believable. Jeez.
Oh, he's just sitting there like with this like, but don't forget also the Hulk. It's Professor Hulk now. He's in full control.
the Hulk looks. This looks like the Hulk's Tinder profile. like it's like the Hulk is like starring in romance novels. Like.
Okay, so
the Notebook.
Hey Marshall, your job. Put Benedict Cumberbatch in one of these suits. Get him on there. He needs to be up there. That's not fair for him not to be included.
Okay, I'll get right on that. It will be my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Okay, cool. Right on. Okay, let's. But that other. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm just confused. I see these fake
Sebastian.
images. I see these images all the time, these fake images, and then they sometimes turn out to be real. And I'm like, but it looks so Photoshop. And I'm like, but it was going to end up on a t-shirt. So, of course, it looked like crap. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's move on to the Shrek reboot. They're going to Shrek it.
God.
They're going to Shrek it up this time. So let me lay the grounds real quick. Illumination Studios, the guys that have been doing let's see, we have the Minions and The Secret Life of Pets and Despicable Me in that horrible animal movie about singing pets. So from that studio comes the Minions. Or I mean, god damn it, I messed it up.
To me.
Shrek and Minions meet for the first time. So, anyways, we're getting a Shrek reboot, and I don't know what to think. I don't know what a reboot of an animated series even looks. I mean, I've seen. I guess we could look to like the Powerpuff Girls and the reboot of a Ben 10 to kind of get an imagination of what a rebooted cartoon looks like. But I don't know. This is gonna be like the first rebooted CGI anything. I'm scared. This sounds scary. Marshall, UK king of memes. Tell me how you're feeling about the Shrek reboot, and what's it gonna look like? What are we to expect? Is it gonna be super self-aware?
I mean, is it gonna be animated like the other ones, or are they doing something different with it?
I don't know, man. So far, let's just assume that it's gonna be animated, just like the other one.
I mean, I'm not surprised. They'll reboot anything these days. I didn't even know like Shrek had finished. I thought they were just still making movies like 7, 8, 9. I don't think it needs.
Yeah,
I
thought
reboot.
they would just keep going.
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, we gave Shrek a break. Let's come out with a 5 now. Like, why would you need to reboot him? People seem to like the character enough, and as long as you just give him a break and then come out with a good movie every 5 years, I don't see why not do that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Okay, so let's do this because we have to. What's this Shrek gonna look like? Because I imagine him being all like put through the Photoshop machine and looking all kinds of.
I want them to change his color just to really annoy people, like make him purple or something, just to see people's reaction.
That first image that has to drop online has to outrage so many people.
They love outraging people by not giving them what they want. So just follow the trend.
So that's right. Go in Ryan Johnson them, and so we're getting a purple Shrek.
Purple Shrek. Donkey's gonna be a horse. A slight change, but enough to annoy people.
Oh, it's so petty.
I know,
and it's funny, and then when people go to like complain about it, they just be like, you're just complaining, you're just nitpicking, audience. Come on, nerds, this is a children's movie.
Yeah,
but this stuff matters. It's made its way onto the Fulcrum Report. It matters.
Just short on topics this week.
Right? No, I felt like this is definitely worth talking about. Harrison, what does the Shrek reboot look like in your imagination, and how do you see this succeeding at all?
I have no idea. Like, I've been trying to find information on this, and the best I could find about the Shrek reboot was they want to keep the same cast.
No, exactly.
I don't understand.
It's
I'm
almost
so confused.
Okay, so are you guys familiar with the Teen Titans?
Barely.
Thank you, Marshall. He just sent us the picture, put it up there on the screen. He just got us the Benedict.
How could they leave him?
This boy's so fast.
Gorgeous, thank you, sir.
It's always a pleasure.
So we have oh lord, so the Shrek reboot. This is kind of what I'm thinking. You know how are you guys familiar with the Teen Titans and how there's the Teen Titans Go?
Yeah.
Yes.
The more bobble-headed animation, and it's like a joke basically compared to the more serious. So what if we get almost an opposite of that? What if we get a dark, gritty Sabrina reboot of Shrek?
Ooh. Yeah, maybe. Like,
gotta make it PG-13.
Shrek with a twist.
The beginning of the movie is just Shrek murdering the entire band Smash Mouth.
Just beating him with bloody limbs.
I already want to watch it.
It's like the movie opens exactly the same as the first movie, and then it's just as soon as you hear somebody wants, and then just immediately like an axe through his head.
and then here you go. Are you ready? And then as Shrek's finished, so the camera angle is coming in from the back. He's just standing over a body, just like heavily breathing, and then all of a sudden the screen has this red filter over it, and you just hear. And then have the Shrek logo like appear and set the tone for your movie.
Just have Marilyn Manson sing the song instead in a really creepy way.
Every time he says the word Shrek, the movie gets faster. Maybe that's what the reboot is. The reboot is just all Shrek memes.
No, okay,
in an actual movie.
That's what I was hoping somebody would say, because now Shrek's become somewhat of this like pop culture icon for completely different reasons. What if the Shrek reboot is paying homage to the movie, and it's called 2019 we get Shrek is Love. And it's the fourth video in the series. It's feature length, and they're just gonna bring in every Shrek meme. It's gonna be the most it's gonna top Deadpool on self-awareness. It's gonna break the fourth wall. It's gonna break the fifth wall. It's gonna be there's gonna have to seizure warnings in front of the video. I see this in front of the film.
It's gonna be the first feature movie made in Source Filmmaker.
Made on an iPhone.
I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just end my life right there, because the world's not going to get any better after that.
No, that's what I want to be in the theater for. So let's see if they give us what we want, because if it's oh my god, if the movie starts and we get some monologue between some fairy tale characters, and all of a sudden Shrek busts in and he just in that ear rape, he's like, "Hello there," then it'll be it'll be perfect. But yeah, I could die right there too. Oh god. Okay.
They're saying they're gonna reboot Puss in Boots along with it.
Really?
Oh.
So there's gonna be another Puss in Boots solo movie.
Okay,
Wow.
I know what he looks like. I know what he looks like. He just looks like Puss in Boots, but with like enormous eyes.
Maybe they
Like those
reboot Garfield along with it, and then Garfield is the new Puss in Boots. 2 birds, 1 stone.
What if it just kicks off a whole cinematic universe of abominations that should be put to sleep?
Puss in Boots versus Garfield.
Well, look, guys, actually, we're thinking about it. Okay, look, if this were Disney, they just, now they're talking about using Shrek. They already have the Minions. They have the Secret Life of Pets. They're going to reboot Shrek into this cinematic universe. I think we're eventually going to get an Avengers with a Gru, the Minions, Shrek, the Secret Life of Pets. I see it all happening. We're going to get that elephant in a tutu from that Sing movie. It's the Illumination Cinematic Universe. I see you.
No.
No. Cool. So that's it for this week, guys. See what happens, Illumination Studios, when you decide to open your mouth with a Shrek reboot. This is what happens to our show. We try and imagine the possibilities, and our brains start to melt. It's something that should never be. And we ruin it. But I promise you guys all at home, we will keep up to the date on this Shrek reboot story. I'm going to follow it faithfully, and any big news that breaks on this story, I will make sure to bring up on this show. It's too big not to be talked about.
Agreed.
It's the Shrekening.
That's the name of the film.
Your Illumination idea isn't the new Grinch? Is that an Illumination?
It is. It is.
We will get Benedict Cumberbatch in the Illumination Avengers.
No.
Finally!
All my dreams have come true.
So let's get on to our quiz question. We're stepping out of the Shrek reboot realm. What other sacred property should never, ever be touched, ever? Give me a reboot. Tell me what it's going to look like, how we're shaping them. So I'm going to start with you, Marshall. How are we? What are we abominationizing? I made up a new word for it.
I've been trying to think of an animation, and I just can't think of one.
You did.
I mean, in terms of things I don't want to see rebooted, Minions.
Good.
Obviously.
Go for it. Okay, because I was already taught. Okay, so let's say, because it's about, if we're thinking like studios, what has it been, like 2 years since the last Minions reboot?
Yeah, it's been a good 2 years.
Okay, perfect. Then that means it's totally time to reboot it, right?
It was like that period where everybody was obsessed with them, and everywhere you went there was something Minions related, and I just remember being miserable that whole time. And I hope I hope it doesn't get rebooted, so I have to live through that again.
We all had that one friend on Facebook who permanently posted Minions memes, but like not even memes, just like inspirational quotes
with the Minions.
Oh, they drove me crazy.
Just with the Minion, yeah, because the Minion memes, like the dank Minion memes, I'm all down for those, and I'm gonna send you guys a link to one after called Despicable B, and it's a mashing of Jerry Seinfeld's B movie with the Minions.
I'm not watching it, Sebastian. I'm not watching it.
It's gorgeous, but so okay, so for bonus points, real quick, what would a Despicable or a Minions reboot look like?
Oh,
what would we're rebooting it, so something has to be different. Where's the catch? Where's the twist?
The only way they could make it even more just horrible is if it was a Minions musical and they all sang in their Minions voices. It's like 10 minutes of story and then an hour and 30 minutes of songs. Oh, and then they release an official soundtrack and it's on the radio. Oh.
And you have to have a "Everything Is Awesome" song, just one of those. Just be like,
yeah, it's like Crazy Frog, but times 100. It's just terrible.
That way, when the kids come out of the theater, they're all singing. It was funny because I remember when the Lego Movie came out. My friend, I worked at Subway at the time actually, and a friend came in, and he came up to me and he's like, "I swear to God, if I have to hear 'Everything Is Awesome' one more time, I'm gonna blow my brains out." Like,
yeah, I mean, I love
because all the
Lego
kids
Movie,
exiting the, yeah. Harrison, what are we rebooting in the? What beloved CGI property are we going to defecate upon?
Oh, so does it have to be CGI?
Or we could be rebooting it into CGI. That's a form of defecation also. So
yeah, because I mean,
go for it.
My immediate thought of an animated thing that should never be rebooted: The Simpsons. Because right now the only way that I am going to get rid of the Simpsons is when the entire cast is dead, and if when Dan Castanella finally dies, and then they go rebooting it in 3 years, I am going to be so upset.
Yeah.
So what's a rebooted Simpsons look like in your nightmares?
Do you know what? I hadn't even considered that it would be CGI, but you're bang on the money. It will be.
It will be CGI.
Simpsons.
Jeez.
And let's see, what talentless hacks would they have playing everyone? Because when the Simpsons started out, no one knew who that cast was.
No.
But like now a Simpsons reboot now would have a huge thing. So I don't know. Let's get Post Malone in there again. He can play Bart.
And you can get that guy from Parks and Rec, the Jimmy from Parks and Rec, the Indian guy. Can we say that on here? I'm trying to identify him for you guys so you know who I'm talking about, but then all of a sudden the people are going to attack me in the comments.
Well, they got rid of Apu. Yeah, they got rid of him in Simpsons, didn't
they? Yeah, they're dropping the character, yeah.
Did they just kill him? Or
no,
he stopped showing up?
People complaining that the character's racist, so they're taking him out.
I just wish I wish they would have had an episode of like the the social justice warriors just like snipering that character out of existence.
Yeah, I mean it's a touchy subject, I guess.
I know, it's so weird because it's like lighten up people, but then you're also like, oh man, it gets serious. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the reboot of The Simpsons, and then we also have a reboot of the Minions. I'm gonna give you guys both a tie this week because I was really hoping for Minions. And before it came out of my mouth, he said it, but it wasn't a full envisionment of a Minions reboot, and that's what I was hoping for. And same goes for The Simpsons. I think that's a great idea. Rebooting it in the CGI. That's just totally how you wreck a show. Both great ideas tied this week.
I'm lacking on these points. I need to pick it up. More memes.
I know. I need to. Right? Is that just how you win the memes? No. I've been fair. I've definitely been fair. Gilbert's got some, and he refuses to go the meme route. So no, but I think that's it for our show. Let's close it out. Marshall, thank you so much for being on the show again this week. It's been a blast, and I know we're just talking. We got some anywhere from the big subjects of Cassian Andor to the little subjects of Shrek reboots. It's always great talking with you. So thank you for being on the show. And do you have any plugs that you want to plug in?
Thank you for having me once again. It's always a pleasure. No plugs today. Just big love to Gilbert. Hope him and his family are okay, and hopefully see you next week, Gilbs.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope to see you next week, Gilbert. And it's not the same without you, man. So just hope everything's going well. But thank you, Marshall, for being back on.
Thank you.
Cool. And Harrison, thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a blast having you. Do you have any plugs you want to get in?
I have actually been doing things on my YouTube channel recently. So if people want to come over and just see the silly little things that I post up there, I also include playlists of the stuff that I'm in. That would be really appreciated. I'm at Harrison Bulman VA.
Right on, Harrison Bulman VA. I'm gonna go check it out and subscribe. I also have a YouTube channel that is getting no attention to. Life is just way too crazy. I think the last thing I did was like a Fortnite something or another, and I've got like a trillion games since then. So
not enough clickbait. You need to clickbait.
I know, and no, I think that's literally me and my friend were just talking because we were looking at the Star Wars videos. The majority of the Billy that was on the show, or at least one of our prototype episodes. But Billy we were just laughing about some of the clickbaity. What was the one? Oh, what if Anakin had the high ground? Or why?
But it works because I genuinely want to know.
Why Palpatine was afraid of Yoda and ran away. Like, these are literal videos.
Oh man, that's
what did Chancellor Palpatine tell the Senate?
I understand.
So I think that's the way we go about this. I think, like, to promote the Fulcrum Report, we're just gonna, from now on, it's just gonna say like episode 9 titled revealed, and you're gonna click on it, and then it's just gonna be episode 17 of the Fulcrum Report.
7 million views.
That would be. Hey, no, okay. But thank you guys both for being on the show. It's always a blast. I have so much fun with you. If you wanna, my name's Sebastian. If you wanna follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you can find that information right below. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, hit the bell notification, hit the likes, and comment below. Like I said, we're constantly talking with you guys on here, and then also on social media. We constantly have polls going up. It's constant moving. That's why I can't do my YouTube channel, because I'm just constantly doing stuff with you guys. So but it's a blast, and I love doing it, and I can't wait to hang out with you guys more next week, and I'm sure we'll have some cool stuff to talk about. But without further ado, Fulcrum Report out. No, exactly. Don't forget the Spider-Man boat.
I bet you look funny pulling up to work in that.
He pulls up to a cute chick on the street in a Spider-Man buggy.
Hey girl, want to see my webs?